One of the most solid cabs I've ever seen. Hey, welcome back to the Odd Rod Garage. Today we're working on Trey's 69 C10. And the floor on the driver's side, it has a little bit of rot. So we're gonna be slicing, dicing, pull that out. We'll get our patch put back in so we can get ready to put this thing back on the frame and see what it's gonna take to get this thing laying on the ground. Hey, thanks you guys for coming by and checking out what we do. Hang on for the ride.
So what we got here is a bunch of squishy scratch marks. What I did was I went ahead and went off of this profile and just drew a line here off of a bigger square. So come to find out, the rocker is actually pretty square to these marks, stuff like that, which is good. But anyway, obviously there's holes here, and there's a little bit of a funky chicken going on right in here. It doesn't have holes in it yet, but it's a little bit more drastic than the surface rust. So anyway, I went ahead and further back. I mean, you can get kind of tricky when you do this stuff, but it's a lot easier to just cut a square or a 90 degree out of it rather. Anyway, so inside of here is a big channel, and this obviously that's for the cab mount, and this comes out to the rocker. Now all that stuff is good. It's just this top panel is that got the issue. Obviously there's been holes punched in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this 90 here. And this is kind of a guesstimation as to where the cross member is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just make another 90. Theoretically I'll be cutting a square out, and then I'll start cutting it because I don't want to damage the inner girdle for the cab mount and stuff like that. Once we know where that's at, then I can go ahead and maybe lance this, but I don't want to go very deep. And then I'm going to go ahead and grind it, and actually literally grind this off the top, off that panel. Anyway, enough blabbing here. Let's go ahead and start by cutting ourselves a square hole. Something like that looks okay. And let's do that there. And we'll take that and we'll proceed to here. And when I cut these out, I'm not going to throw them away right off the bat. I'm going to use these as a pattern, I guess you could say. I'm not going to drill my holes for the corners because obviously they need to be nice and square. Anyway, let's go ahead and make some racket here real quick. So we're definitely going to keep this. That's where that goes right there. So what's next? We're going to go ahead and just a real shallow cut here. And then we'll go ahead and cut a little hole in here and see how much of this we can actually cut out, because it's going to take a while to grind it, and I don't want to have to grind too much.
I know, it's too early in the morning to talk.
So go from here to here. Let's say 1.25 inches right there. Okay. And let's say 1/4 inch right here. And we have right here. Keep that trajectory like that. Now, how wide is this guy here? 2 inches there. So if we do, say 1.5 inches or so, something like that. Oh man, the floor is falling apart. Alright, because inside of here is just a channel, that's why I was able to cut it the way I did. Anyway, let's go ahead and do another relief. We'll cut up this line. We'll go ahead and get an arbitrary measurement from in here. You know the drill. Not the drill. Yes, the drill. Now there is an issue here, so I'm going to do my best to cut that. Let's do something like that. I feel artistic this morning. Let's just, right here, and then we'll put a little tree right here, and some mountains, and a little stream. Okay. Sorry, it's too early in the morning. Looks like that marks pretty good, but there's some extra material right up in here. So we don't want to cut that. So it looks like we can go ahead and cut that. So we're going to go ahead and cut it something like this. Because again, you don't want to damage that guy. Alright, so let's do a couple of real shallow cuts on here, and then theoretically we should probably be able to grind this away, and let's see what we got. Alright, so there's those. So there's a little bit more fuzz here, so we ended up relieving it from this original line here to now it's here. That's the new one. Obviously I got the round off of here. This is ready. There's a little pinhole here, so we'll probably climb up here. We'll cut that out, and then we'll start establishing how we want to put it together. Yeah. Anywho, that's the idea anyway. Just go ahead and cut that out and move on. Guard here real quick. Yeah. It starts with something. This is where you try to cut out panels that would kind of somewhat interlock, I guess you could say. This stamping is not exactly right. Obviously, look at this. I mean, if the stamping was right, you would not be able to lay this in here flat to that panel. But that's what we have. So, this corner was more of a 90 originally. So I had to massage it to where I opened that edge up just a little bit to where more like contour on this, like this. We got to allocate. Remember, we got a blade in there. So we'll make our relief for the blade. This guy actually, depending on how I cut it, that should be a nice flush edge right there. And we'll leave this right. Something like that. Oh, that panel's really bad. Anyway, here, like that. If we cut it like this, and where we're going to put it in here is this panel is actually going to be recessed in just a little bit versus this. We're done with these for now. Alright guys, so we got our panel cut. See how this is rounded right there? Right there it's supposed to be flat. So always remember when you're doing these replacement panels, it's kind of a fudge factor, right? You get it somewhere close, rework it, and you'll find out that none of the panels will actually fit right. They fit close, but not exact. Leave yourself some leeway. We've left ourselves 1/4 inch leeway long and wide. So remember, this used to be round, and that just shows you how off these panels can be. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off, and then it's ready to start dry fitting it. All right, take 3045. What do we got now? What do we got? Well, first off, we have a panel that's not bent right. I think that line's about as straight as it's going to get. Our edge here is good. I really wish it didn't have that gap. That's not too bad though. Alright guys, so I went ahead and just massaged this corner just a little bit more. Just a little bit more of a 90. Looks a little bit better. Alright guys, she's in. I'm going to just do a couple tacks. Remember, your biggest problem now is, well, for one, it's placement. I'm going to weld my my plug holes last. That way, if I ever have to fudge it, at least those aren't attached. So I'm going to start back in here. Just a couple tacks here. Remember, when you're doing 10, you got to watch your heat. Don't want to stay there too long. I'm going to go up a little bit on the heat. Oh man. Doing alright, not too bad. Alright guys, it's almost done. A couple more pinholes. I gotta weld that little hole up there. But all in all, this doesn't look too bad. Got a pretty decent repair. Got a little fire going on over there. Nice and warm. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish up these holes. And now I got to finish weld outside in the front, and we have to do this and that over there.
That's good. That's good.
Alright.
Alright, let's clean it up. So see what we got. Alright, let's go and clean that up. So see what we got. Alright guys, it's like it never happened. Ooh.
Alright guys, the cool thing about the next project is, I mean obviously I have two of them, which I don't know how cool that is, but I can pretty much mimic them both. They're about the same. So what I did, you can use cardboard at home if you have it. Again, I like using aluminum because it's easy to cut, it's fast to cut, and you can maneuver it however you want, and it doesn't get all flimsy and floppy on you. Firewall, floor, she can go under just like that. Zoink. I'm gonna cut a piece of steel that is, let's go 2 inches longer than that. And then we can start back cutting and stuff like that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make this stuff out of this patch panel. And I think we have enough material to go ahead and do that one out of the same stuff. You know, if Trey wants to return the other panel or hang on to it, make it wall art, he can do that. Let's go ahead and cut something out and see what it looks like. Alright guys, so here's the old panel. I'll go ahead and trace this profile here. Okay, I'm going to cut that, put it back on there, and I'll show you why I did that here in a second. Alright guys, so here's our patch panel here. So I cut that circle in there, right? Kind of give an idea. But for kicks and giggles, let's see what we can do. I'm not a big proponent for wasting time, right? It'd be kind of neat to see if this would work. So what I did was I eyeballed this seam right here, marked it on here, did just a couple of relief cuts, and then right on that edge, I just bent a little bit, and then went about 1/8 of an inch down and tried to bend it back. Obviously it's going to fight you and it's not going to be perfect, but it actually created a seam. Let's go and weld these guys up, and then we'll weld them up, and then we'll probably have to drill some plug holes. Do for that. We're gonna have to do the same over there. I was just kind of kicking around the idea to see if it would work. It looks like it did. So weld these seams up, clean them up, drill some spot weld plug holes, and then we'll cut it for length. So here's our cool little relief we made. Looks pretty cool. Anyway, this guy goes right in here just like that. So the door rubber goes over this, but at least we have a seam here, right? Looks like something. Zoink. Looks like it fits pretty well, guys. Pretty well. We can give her a tack right there in the middle. And right here, we really got to watch our heat. Just little baby tacks. Baby. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see that or not. That edge looks pretty good. Nice and it's a little low, that's okay. Anyway, we got our heavy tacks here, here, and here. That way it's attached to the floor and all that. It's a beautiful thing.
It'll be our secret.
You know, on a side note, I don't know why I'm always amazed at how much dirt falls out of a cab when you're doing the floor repair. Wow, that's great, Tom. So that's what it looks like with primer. Here's that. This is the side. This is the rocker that Trey put on. Came out pretty good. Anyway, I gotta grind these guys down, finish that stuff up. But unfortunately, it'd be easier to take the door off, to be able to get in there and all that stuff. So hang tight. I'm gonna take the door off. So hang on. Well, hello. Just sitting there taking the door off. Really? That's amazing. How's that happen? So here's our next patch. This is for the passenger kick panel. I cheated and used the pattern that I had made off of that one over there to make this one over here. Man, I'm smart. Before I start doing stuff, let's go ahead and do our patented swoop-de-doo like we did over there. It looks really good. And where the tacks were, that the door rubber will cover that. So we're good to go in that respect. Now let's go ahead and mark our half moon with the marker that I don't have. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. That was pretty good for starters. If you were a corner, where would you be? There's our profile. We're just gonna do exactly what we did before. Was we'll do cut it right there. Right there. Let's do this. So there's our reliefs. Cut, and then right on that profile right there, bend it, and then go down a little bit on the pliers, and then bend it again, so you end up with like an S, theoretically. So there, I bent it there, and now all I did was I just moved the pliers down just a little bit. Just a little bit. And there's a something. Oh, who bent that? So if we were to, oh, look at that. It just wants to jump right in there. We'll weld these up, clean this up, because obviously you can't get in there to do it later. So, alright guys, I want to show you this. So just with those two cuts and those stupid little bends, now we have a curve. Wow. It's going to be all the way down there. You'll never notice it. But if you do, you'll be like, wow, that's curved. Wow. Let's cut that. And hopefully it'll fit. Hey, ooh, custom fit. Now it's fine. Yeah, looks like I have to flip that corner just a little bit, which I don't want to do, but that's all I got, man. Alright. Watch this, so that. Of course, you just want to see something you're actually going to be looking at, it's got to be right. What do we got? Hey! Ooh, custom fit. That's so hot. Hey! Now it's warm. I don't know if it's going to get much better than that, guys. Alright, you got guys. I got these passwords. Like I said, once we get that seam open, then we can do whatever we want. No, we want. Okay, check some picture.
you saw that we're getting ready to put some patch panels down in Trey's floor. And Tommy's talking about, you know, all the different angles and creases and things that we have to try and get lined up. And on the repop panels that we get, which, as he was showing you before, they don't fit, but they're close, so it allows us to re-massage them. But on those panels, they do not have a seam where there normally is a seam on one of these C10s, 67 to 72. And so they just sort of do a panel up over the top. Some people just leave it that way and scab it over the top. We don't do that. We want, when it's all said and done, for someone to look at it and not be able to tell that we've done a repair on it. So we have to end up faking a little seam. So let me show you what we're talking about. Where normally two pieces of metal would come together and then they would do spot welds, this metal just goes straight across. So here's where I'm talking about. There's supposed to be a seam that goes across here, right about there, I'm guessing. And these would be two different separate pieces of metal that go to it, but they just stamp one piece, and some people just weld it in like that, but we're not going to. So we're going to end up cutting it, welding it in the appropriate location, and from underneath we're going to build another little standout piece, or a bent piece, so that it looks like the original shape is there. So is it fake? It is, but it looks exactly the same. It functions as well, if not better. We just want it to look right. Alrighty, another day in the life of the Odd Rod Garage. You know, we had some comments on the last video that we're all over the place. We do too many weird things and there's nothing consistent. And that's true, because we're trying to survive and make a living, and we have a lot of interests, and we have adult ADD. But you know, sometimes we're working on a 69 Chevy C10 like today. Sometimes we're building a 49 Chevy. Sometimes we're doing a 55 gasser. We have a lot of things going on. We understand that. We appreciate you guys coming and checking out what we do. Hopefully you like it. Today you saw that Tommy got a bunch done on the floor. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much finished up. We might have a little touch-up work here and there to do on it, but a lot of work. Makes it super solid. This truck's going to be beautiful. So we want to thank you guys for coming and checking us out. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, share the link, make a comment. And as always, thanks for watching.